So GIS technology is posing a game changer in improving government decision making, planning, and resource management. So from telecommunication to land management, from urban planning to utility management, or from tax planning to environmental tracking and beyond, the scope of GIS-led transformations is immense, and it is enabling the government to move to or upscale and upgrade to a more smarter and sustainable infrastructure. To know more on the subject, today I have with me Mr. Agendra Kumar, who is the Managing Director at Esri India. Now, Agendra is an industry veteran and he holds a rich experience of 3 decades in the IT industry. So, under his leadership, Esri India has partnered with multiple government and private companies with Esri India's GIS technologies. Before joining Esri India, Agendra has been in leadership positions at some of the renowned industry players like Symantec, Veritas Software, and Silicon Graphics. So, welcome to this exclusive interview with ETGovernment, Mr. Kumar. So, firstly, I would like to know that GIS technologies have been quite transformative and a game changer technology for the government and public sector ecosystem, especially when it comes to urban planning, cityscaping, or environmental tracking, citizen engagement, and multiple other applications. So, how is Esri faring on that front, and what are you up to in the coming times?
Right. So, first of all, thank you very much for inviting me and giving this opportunity to share some of my thoughts about use of GIS in government sector. Esri India was formed in 1996, and since then we have worked very closely with many government departments. The initial adopters of GIS were mapping agencies, like it happens in every country. Mapping the land is the most important task when a country starts using GIS, because that's a main driver for adoption of GIS. So organizations like Survey of India, Geological Survey of India, um, and other mapping agencies, Census Department, NIC, they were like early adopters of GIS. And they also supported many other organizations in adopting GIS technology. And today, if we see, uh, our GIS technology is being used in almost all national programs. To name a few, Swachh Bharat Mission, Jal Jeevan Mission, Smart Cities, when the program was running, is still running, of course. RAPDRP, which was for electric distribution, uh, Pradhan Mantri Gramin Sadak Yojana. There are many such programs in which GIS is being used quite extensively, and there have been a lot of benefits derived from the use of this technology. And I think this is, and then on the other side, we have forest departments, we have so many municipal corporations, we have water resource departments, other urban bodies. So it's a widely used technology. And if we look at in the government sector, we probably have about 6,000 organizational users. And our technology is also being used by more than 1 million people every day in their applications. So that's a kind of spread which has happened over the last 28 years.
Okay, so Mr. Kumar, I think I very well resonate with what you said that it's a very widely used technology and it covers a lot of other sectors, especially the almost in every sector GIS is being used. But the kind of missions and the programs run by the government and the public sector, of course, which ones you named, where Esri has also contributed their technology. I just wanted to know what is the status update on those. I mean, on from the perspective of Esri, what is the status update on those programs? Since you named Smart City Mission, Swachh Bharat Mission, these were missions which were launched, almost for 5 years or even more than that, even almost a decade back. So, what is the status update, and how do you see these missions are? What new is coming up in these line of applications?
Yeah. So if we take smart city mission, the whole objective of that was to improve the conditions in the cities, the living conditions in the cities, how the infrastructure is, what kind of facilities the citizens have. So every city had selected their own parameters where they wanted to focus. And I'll give example of Varanasi, which is they have done a lot of work there. If you look at the satellite imagery before the smart city mission started and today, there's a huge change in Varanasi. Initially, when they started, their focus areas were smart lighting, smart parking management, better road systems, um, cleaning of certain areas, having a better um, area, I mean, improving the area across the near to the river, so that people can go and take dip in the river there. So that the change that you can see in the smart city in the imagery is a testimonial of what changes have happened there. And city is now looking at building 3D models and further improving the traffic management and uh, and the aesthetics of the buildings per se, and even for construction, new constructions which are going to happen in that city, GIS is being used. So that's one example. If you look at Swachh Bharat Mission, uh, there was a very popular app, which was a mobile app, where citizen can take a picture of any garbage or anything like that they see, and it automatically uploads in the system, and from there it goes to the local municipal office and the officer who's in charge for that area, so that some action can be taken. So this app had mapped all the municipal areas, who are the officers, and it's working quite well. And there was a lot of good value which came out of that. If we look at the use of GIS in Namami Gange, which is about cleaning the river Ganga, they have done the mapping of a couple of kilometers on both sides of river also, to ensure that the garbage and other pollutants don't flow into the river. And there's been a progress in that as well. Uh, if you look at RAPDRP, I think some states did very well. It was implemented across the country. GIS is all about data. Some states invested time and resources on getting better data into GIS system, and they are getting much more benefits. I would give examples. I mean, there are many states who have done well, but I remember a couple of them. Uh, THPVN in Haryana, Bestcom in Bangalore. There are some examples where they've got good success out of the investment in this program.
So you share a lot of good bits about GIS, especially when it comes to the application of Varanasi Smart City. Then Namami Gange, of course, it was a huge successful project. We've seen the result. The Ganga, the pollutant levels have dropped down drastically, and that's really good news to all of us. Uh, so I just wanted to know more on the Varanasi part of it. So I think Maha Kumbh is going on right now. So are your technologies also deployed there? Is Esri playing a role in mapping and citizen engagement or tracking the entire area in a way?
Yeah, so initially for Maha Kumbh, GIS was used for planning activities, all these sectors and different kind of accommodation, movement of traffic. And then we saw that there were some apps which were launched by government and other organizations that are involved in the management of Kumbh Mela. But we found that none of them were on GIS. So we took an initiative on our own, and we created a Maha Kumbh web app, which can be accessed through mobile devices also. And it's free. It's there's no download required. There's no sign in required. There's no personal data which anybody has to put. So there's a simple link. You click on that, a page opens. There are maps. There's a lot of information about all the ghats and hotels and emergency services, routing. How do you get to a ghat? So all that is available in this Maha Kumbh app, a web app which was launched by Esri India as one of our initiatives. And I was checking today, we have almost 11,000 people who used that in the last 4 5 days. That's it's been there. And I'm sure in 45 days that Kumbh is going to be there. I think there'll be very large adoption of this application. We should keep in mind that not everybody has a smartphone. A lot of people go there who do not have smartphone. They may not be able to use it. But people who go from larger cities, they are able to definitely make use of such apps.
Okay, so from the citizen point of view, you just told us a very good use case. And I think that's really impressive application of GIS technology, and you found the opportunity there. But when it comes to the government aspect, so is government also leveraging the GIS technology to map and track the entire proceedings of the Maha Kumbh?
I'm sure somewhere they are doing. I'm probably not so familiar of that.
Okay.
When you do a bandobast for such a big event where 40 to 45 crore people are supposed to go, the traffic management, emergency services,
Somewhere GIS find a very important role to be there.
And they see sometimes government departments have our software already, and they many of them know how to use it. So it's not that we'll get involved in every activity. But then there are other situations I have seen organizations like NIC who have good capabilities and they are able to support government organizations. And sometimes the response is also very fast. And the biggest advantage they have is that there's no order to be cut to NIC. It's a request that is to be made. NIC has their own cloud infrastructure. They have people. They have our software, and they run Bharat Maps on Esri technology, so they can quickly turn around an application. So they do it for many areas.
Right. So, sir, I would like to turn the conversation bit towards more technology aspect. So, AI is a buzzword. It is a technology which is booming, and almost every company wants to jump in and take their stake.
Yeah.
So, how does AI find an impressive, or let's say an effective application in GIS technology space? And also, if Esri India is coming up with, or let's say integrating AI in your offerings, in your services.
Yeah, so it's a very important question because AI is the most, I would say, most popular buzzword today. Uh, in terms of technology, our ArcGIS Pro has a lot of built-in capabilities for using AI and other machine learning and deep learning algorithms. So they're already built in. There are close to 100 models which come along with it's a part of the software. In India, we have worked with, we have at least 200 examples of working with different government organizations uh, for applications like object identification uh, and finding patterns from data. Uh, so I would give examples. There are examples for solar panel planning, solar farm planning, solar farm maintenance, uh, of identifying disease in a leaf, identifying buildings, identifying water bodies, automatic identification of roads, um, identification of railway tracks, looking at the electric railway infrastructure, whether everything is properly aligned or not. So these are some of the things which have been done by Esri India's engineers for a lot of customers. Often these become a part of a larger application. It's not an application by itself. It provides a valuable input to a bigger application which has a wider end result. But these are very critical for speed and accuracy. Um, Manually, if we were to do these things, it takes a very long time. Accuracy may be 98%. Using AI, accuracy initially maybe 70-80%. With better training of models, it can go into 90s, but you can cover a large area in a very short time. When you have to identify, say, land parcels, those kind of things can very easily done here in a very short time. So that's one part. Second part, so uh, we call it Geo AI. We combine geography and AI together to use data which is coming from, say, video feeds or satellite imagery or drone imagery, and we apply AI for these kind of activities. The second part is using large language models, creating a repository, creating a system which is like a chatbot. So you can talk to the software, ask questions. How do I do this? And the software will answer back, and it supports multiple languages also. So that work is being done by Esri Global, because it's a part of of Esri technology. But that's the second part, which is really very important, which will help our users in interacting with the software and using it with greater ease.
So I completely resonate when you said that GIS is just a part of that entire, technology ecosystem, which is basically, of course, it is enabling multiple applications, but it is not all. It is being supported by multiple other technologies as well. Also, when you talk about the AI implementation, especially the LLM part of it, which was a very interesting bit. So I just want to come to that. Let's explore a bit more on that. So I really feel that the quality of data which we feed to the AI model, matters the most when it comes to getting the desired results, or maybe making the best out of that technology.
Right.
So, do you face any challenges, or have you seen witness any challenges, especially in the government and public sector ecosystem, in fetching the quality of data?
See, what happens is that quality of data is one part. Quality can be improved. I mean, today, a lot of government organizations, either they have access to high resolution satellite imagery or drone imagery. Flying drone has become very common in the government space. Many government organizations own their drones and they have people to fly. The challenge sometimes comes is that, especially if you are doing the building footprint identification or building rooftop identification, these are quite important for say urban sectors where the problem statement could be increasing the property tax or getting the count of how many dwellings are there. So some of these models which are trained internationally, uh, they are trained on different kind of houses. Our rooftops are quite different, right? And India is a very diverse country. The kind of houses we have in say Haryana or UP versus if you compare with Himachal or J&K or Uttarakhand, there's a big difference. So we have to keep tweaking these models to accept different kind of inputs. And so that effort is done by our engineers. They look at parameters, they look at, they fine tune the model so that the accuracy is higher. So that effort is required. And same thing happens with the some of the streets also, street identification. Um, sometime in especially in rural areas, uh, we have streets which are not easy to identify. Often they are mud streets, so it takes a little bit of effort to help the model understand how to identify that. So these are some of the kind of challenges which we face.
Thanks, sir. I think it's been very insightful speaking with you. So now I come to the end of this interview, the last question. So I want to know, in this coming year ahead, what are your focus areas, especially in the government and the public sector? So what kind of you could talk about what where you're further planning to expand your solutions.
Sure.
So what are those focus areas where Esri India is trying to
Yeah.
put in their footprints?
Sure. For last about 3 years, we have a lot of focus on making better data available to our users. And we established what we call uh, Living Atlas India chapter. Living Atlas is a global repository of content that Esri provides to the users by bringing open data published by various government agencies on a common platform. So the users don't have to look at 100 places. So similarly, we made an effort. We have more than 1,000 layers in our Living Atlas India chapter. It is hosted on a cloud in India. So we continue to improve that. We are working on creating ward boundaries because ward boundaries are not published by government bodies as of now. It's a manual process where we don't do survey, so we work from secondary sources and still try to create these ward boundaries so that at least for planning purposes there is something available. So we'll continue to work in this area. We've also speeded up our efforts in providing base maps on premise. So SC provides base maps through a cloud system, and a lot of customers use those. They just integrate that in the application. So data is coming from outside, but it's not their data is not going out. So, but a lot of customers wanted these base map on premise so that they can put their own custom applications on that, customize it, put more their own data layers. So that's something which we started offering. Uh, another, so typically our software currently gets deployed in two models. One is on-premise, people have their own infrastructure and put the software there. And second, over the last couple of years, we've seen many customers coming, either having their own cloud or coming to us and taking our cloud and managed services. So that software goes on a cloud. So on-premise and cloud are two models today where customer owns the software and they use it. Now we are introducing a third model which is platform as a service. So we will host the software on a cloud system in India, and so customers do not have to invest in hardware or cloud or software. And because it's a PaaS system, the charges will be on the consumption basis. So it's a consumption based model. So it's ready. It's designed and developed by Esri India team. It's where the Make in India content will be much higher in this, and it is currently in a, I would say, user trial. We wanted to just make sure that we try it with a couple of users so that there are no hiccups when we launch it on GEM and start offering to larger um, customer base. So that is going on. Hopefully, in a couple of months, that phase will be over, and then it will be a regular offering from us. There are demand for PaaS systems coming from GIS users, so this will fulfill that part of the market.
So I'm pretty sure that your PaaS system, the newer model that you're trying to come in, will, we are hopeful that it gets successful, because India has always been a cost sensitive market.
Exactly.
So I think it will be a more successful approach towards it. So thank you, sir. Thank you for sparing your time and sharing us with so many insights. It was really wonderful talking to you.
Thank you very much.